programming choice you decide to make.
See Monstervision host Joe Bob Briggs and Buffy the Vampire Slayer next on TNT.
The mantelpiece of the Queen's Gallery Memorial.
Hamburger, yummy, yummy, good, good, good hamburgers. Those cattle ranchers out in Amarillo, they're watching what we say on TV, aren't they? Good grief. Hey, Joe Bob Briggs coming to you once again with Exploitation Night on Monstervision. Our second movie tonight is Hammer, one of the best black exploitation classics of the 70s. We're going to get Fred Williamson on the phone, the Hammer himself. And where does Fred live? Chicago, I think. But we're going to start off the evening with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the essence of white exploitation. So anyway, Oprah won her lawsuit, didn't she? Good for her. Millionaires suing a millionaire. I think they were just jealous of her because they spend 3 years cleaning up after a cow to make what she makes for saying, and when did you discover that your daughter was selling crack? You know, have you noticed, though, how all daytime talk shows have become a nasty version of Dunk the Guest? Remember that carnival game where you pay money to throw baseballs at a guy sitting on a platform over a water tank? Well, it's the same thing, only a talk show audience doesn't have to pay money. Because these shows are scary to me. First of all, who could even get this angry at something on a dumb TV show? Let's say the topic is midget wrestlers who have 6 wives. So a midget wrestler comes out and he talks about all his wives, including a 6'4" blonde Norwegian named Inga, right? And the host asks a series of apparently harmless questions like, well, do people ever criticize you for having so many wives? So the first part of the show consists of lulling the midget into a false sense of security. Then, just at the moment when the midget's having a great time talking about himself, somebody in the control room says, okay, that's enough, now feeding time. And the host calls on some deranged rabbit animal with 3 feet of teased hair who stands up and says, well, I think what you're doing with your life is disgusting. How can you sit up there and deny what's going on? I can see it on the faces of your midget wives. They can't stand having to deal with Inga every day, but they sacrifice themselves for you. But you're too much of a sleazeball pig to understand that. And there's a cheer from the rest of the audience. It's as though somebody yelled, dog pile on the midget. And then one by one, people get up and they verbally nuke this guy, who by now he's off center, he's not thinking clearly. And then the show's over, and he goes home and says, I don't know what happened. The first 20 minutes were great, and then it just got weird. And the reason he feels awful is that some producer said something to him like, we would just love to have you on our show. We find your profession so fascinating and your lifestyle. And the guy doesn't realize he's bait. So listen up, people. If you see a midget wrestler with 6 wives on the street, why should it make you mad? You don't have to have 6 wives. You don't have to be a midget wrestler. You don't have to worry about how a midget carries on a relationship with a 6'4" Norwegian. In other words, it has nothing to do with us. So calm down, okay? And as to you talk show producers and hosts, God has a very special place in hell for you people. This is not nice what you're doing. Anyhow, let's watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And as usual, we're only 4 minutes into the show, and already I'm way off the subject here. So let's watch the movie. The mail girl's going to be out. I'll do the drive-in totals later. And go. After the break, do transvestites use Tampax? Next, Oprah.